You've probably heard that sugar is bad for you, so you've tried stevia, and hated the aftertaste. You've tried erythritol, and noticed the strange cooling sensation. You've tried monk fruit, and wondered why it doesn't work in baking. Today we look at two sweeteners that actually solve most of these problems, and one of them does something no other sweetener on the market can do. Quick note before we start, this video is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making significant changes to your diet, especially if you have a medical condition or take medication. Welcome to Ingredient Verdict, where we examine one ingredient at a time, no hype, just the evidence. Allulose and monk fruit are generating serious interest in the health world, and for once, the interest appears to be backed by real science. But as always, the marketing has outrun the evidence in some areas. Let's look at what we actually know. First, what are they? Allulose, also called D-allulose or D-sickose, is a monosaccharide, a simple sugar that occurs naturally in very small quantities in figs, raisins, wheat and jackfruit. It's structurally almost identical to fructose, with one key difference in the arrangement of atoms that changes almost everything about how the body processes it. Despite tasting about 70% as sweet as regular sugar, allulose is absorbed in the small intestine but not metabolized. It passes through largely intact and is excreted in urine. This means it contributes virtually no calories, around 0.2 to 0.4 kilocalories per gram compared to 4 for sugar. In the United States, the FDA has ruled that allulose doesn't need to be counted toward total or added sugars on nutrition labels, a significant regulatory distinction. Monk fruit, known in Chinese as luo han guo, comes from Ceraitia grosvenori, a vine native to southern China and northern Thailand. The fruit has been cultivated and consumed in China for centuries, used in traditional herbal medicine and teas. Its intense sweetness, 100 to 250 times sweeter than sugar depending on the extraction method, comes from compounds called mogrosides, particularly mogroside V. Unlike allulose, which is a sugar, monk fruit extract is not a sugar at all. It contains no fructose or glucose in meaningful amounts. The sweetness comes entirely from non-caloric glycoside compounds that are not metabolized for energy. Both are fundamentally different from older artificial sweeteners like aspartame or sucralose, which are entirely synthetic. Both have natural origins and avoid the chemical processing associated with artificial options. And both are meaningfully different from stevia, which carries a distinctive bitter aftertaste that has limited its mainstream adoption, and from erythritol, which can cause digestive discomfort at higher doses. Erythritol has been associated in some research with cardiovascular concerns, though that evidence remains debated. Now let's look at what the evidence actually says about allulose. Allulose has attracted significant research interest, and the findings are genuinely interesting across several areas. Blood sugar management is the most studied application. Multiple clinical trials have shown that allulose reduces post-meal blood glucose levels, both when consumed alone and when added to carbohydrate-containing foods. The mechanism appears to involve inhibition of alpha-glucosidase, an enzyme that breaks down carbohydrates into glucose in the small intestine, effectively slowing glucose absorption. Research has also found that allulose may improve insulin sensitivity over time with regular consumption. GLP-1 stimulation is one of the more surprising findings. Research suggests allulose stimulates the release of GLP-1, the same satiety hormone we discussed in our yerba mate video, and the same pathway targeted by pharmaceutical drugs like semaglutide. Human studies have shown acute GLP-1 increases after allulose intake, and a 12-week animal study published in 2024 found a sustained increase in GLP-1 levels even in a fasted state, suggesting the effect may linger beyond the point of consumption. Human studies confirming this sustained effect are still needed. Gut health is an emerging area. A study published in 2025 found that allulose increased butyrate production in human gut models, both in healthy adults and those with type 2 diabetes. Butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid critical for gut lining integrity and microbiome health. Animal studies have also suggested potential prebiotic effects, with certain gut bacteria able to metabolize allulose directly. We'd call this promising but early. The gut health research on allulose is younger than the metabolic research and warrants more human studies. Now for the baking properties, and this is where allulose does something genuinely unique. One area where allulose stands out from almost every other sweetener is in the kitchen. As a reducing sugar, like fructose and glucose, allulose participates in the Maillard reaction, the chemical process responsible for browning and that characteristic baked smell when food is heated. It browns, it caramelizes, it retains moisture. Research published in 2024 and 2025 confirms what many home bakers have discovered: allulose behaves more like sugar in baking than any other low-calorie alternative. It also retains moisture better than regular sugar, meaning baked goods stay softer for longer. One practical note worth knowing: allulose browns faster than regular sugar at high temperatures because it is more reactive in the Maillard reaction than even fructose and glucose. Reducing oven temperature by around 15 to 20 degrees Celsius and keeping a close eye on color is advisable when substituting allulose for sugar. At higher doses, allulose can cause digestive discomfort, including bloating and loose stools. This is dose-dependent and most people tolerate it well at typical serving sizes, but starting gradually if you're new to it makes sense. Now for monk fruit. Monk fruit extract's primary appeal is its sweetness intensity and clean taste profile. It provides sweetness without the bitterness associated with stevia or the cooling sensation of erythritol. For many people, this makes it the most pleasant-tasting natural sweetener available. Beyond sweetness, monk fruit mogrosides have been studied for their antioxidant properties. Research has found that mogroside V in particular has antioxidant activity that may help neutralize free radicals, though most of this research is in vitro or animal-based rather than human trials. Metabolic health research on monk fruit is less extensive than on allulose, but promising. Some studies have found that mogrosides may support blood sugar regulation and have anti-inflammatory properties. A systematic review published in 2025, analyzing randomized controlled trials, found evidence of beneficial effects on metabolic markers, though the authors noted that study quality and duration varied considerably. Unlike allulose, monk fruit extract does not participate in browning reactions, which is actually why the two are so often combined in baking formulations. Allulose provides structure, moisture and color. Monk fruit provides sweetness intensity. Together they produce results that are closer to sugar than either achieves alone. Now for the regulatory situation, and this is genuinely interesting for European listeners. In the United States, allulose received GRAS status, generally recognized as safe, from the FDA, and has been widely available since around 2015. Monk fruit extract received GRAS status in 2010. Both are freely available in US supermarkets and online. The European Union tells a different story. Allulose is classified as a novel food in the EU and requires authorization before it can be sold as a food ingredient. EFSA published its scientific opinion in May 2025, concluding that the safety of allulose could not yet be established due to gaps in long-term toxicological data. The application is on hold pending additional studies. The UK's Food Standards Agency is expected to move faster and may approve allulose by late 2026. Monk fruit has a more complex EU story. A specific aqueous extract was actually authorized in the EU in October 2024, so it's not entirely absent from the European market. However, the highly purified mogroside extracts that are most commonly used remain unapproved, and a new application is currently under EFSA assessment. The important nuance here is that EU caution does not mean these sweeteners have been found unsafe. It means the EU's regulatory framework requires a higher burden of long-term safety evidence before authorization. We'd call this worth knowing rather than a reason for alarm. For European consumers who want to try these sweeteners, both allulose and monk fruit are available through international online retailers like iHerb, which ships to most European countries. This falls within personal import rules for most EU countries, meaning you can legally order them for your own use. As always, check your country's specific import regulations if unsure. So here's our verdict. For blood sugar management and metabolic health, allulose has the strongest and most consistent evidence base of any natural sweetener currently available. For baking and cooking, allulose is the only natural low-calorie sweetener that genuinely replicates sugar's functional properties, including browning and moisture retention. If you bake regularly, it's worth exploring. Just reduce your oven temperature slightly. For taste and versatility as a sweetener in drinks and cold preparations, monk fruit provides the cleanest sweet taste of any natural option, without bitterness or aftertaste. For gut health, allulose has emerging evidence for prebiotic-like effects and butyrate production, though this is an early area of research. For European consumers, check iHerb for availability, and monitor the EU regulatory situation as it evolves. For anyone with digestive sensitivity, both are generally well tolerated at typical serving sizes, but allulose at higher doses can cause digestive discomfort. Starting with smaller amounts makes sense. That's our verdict on allulose and monk fruit. Bottom line, these are two of the most interesting sweeteners to emerge in recent years, with genuine evidence behind them and regulatory caution that reflects process rather than danger. Read the label, not the marketing. If this was useful, subscribe. In every video we examine one ingredient, no hype, just the evidence. What ingredient would you like us to examine next? Drop it in the comments below. Next up, we examine one of the most controversial food additives hiding in your healthy foods, carrageenan. See you then.